This is Michael Lewis, former New Orleans Saints point and kick returner. You're watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am back after a week off. It was my birthday last week. Decided to take the entire week off. Rested, relaxed, ready to go. A couple of things, a couple of announcements we definitely want to make before we get started with the Monday Night Raw review for the week of August 11th, 2014. Just yesterday, we suffered, if you're a true fan of comedy like I am, and the incomparable one, Lance Moss and Mike, we all are, we suffered a huge loss in the form of the death of Robin Williams. We just want to take this time out to send our condolences out to his family, because it is indeed a rough time. We lost someone who, always had found a way to make anyone laugh. And, when I heard the news, it was kind of, shocking. So, again, we just want to send our condolences out to the family and friends of Robin Williams. Another thing, starting this Saturday at 9 o'clock Central Time, 9 a.m. Central Time, you guys will be able to start seeing MSX Revelations on a bi-weekly basis. What I mean is every 2 weeks on a Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time, right here on WGS-TV, you'll be able to see new things out of Mid-South Extreme, especially from the Mid-South Extreme Revelations show. The one where Ashton Spears calls out the franchise to Shane Douglas. What exactly happened? Well, the only way to find out what happened is to stay tuned right here to WGS-TV, and you'll definitely find out exactly what happened in that encounter, and also the big encounter. We just saw it recently. Christian Blake winning the MSX Heavyweight Championship. And Trucker Jones does cash in his rematch clause, but it wouldn't be any kind of particular match. But the only way you'll know is to stay right here to WGS-TV, and you'll find out exactly what happened with them as well. So let's go ahead and get started to move on to the Monday Night Raw review for the week of August 11th, 2014. And ladies and gentlemen, you already know him. He's our resident music mogul over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Let's have some fun.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, he committed a sin on Facebook last night involving a bad picture of Eva Marie, Mike from Iowa. Mike, how you doing?
Man, I feel fantastic, and I truly believe the evolution has begun.
Oh, God. Anyway,
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, you should. Anyway, let's get to the opening of Monday Night Raw. Now, if there's one thing that Paul Heyman is really, really good at, it's working the crowd through the microphone, and that's exactly what we got at the opening of Monday Night Raw. It was basically Lesnar and Paul Heyman, with this being the go-home show to Monday Night Raw, that you had to have the #1 contender in the main event come out and start hyping up the show. I mean, what build have they done except really crappy vignettes they did last week? I mean, looking at Brock Lesnar, I'm going to leave Cena in a pool of blood and vomit and urine. Oh, what a riveting promo, Lesnar. And all you people all of a sudden suddenly love Brock Lesnar. You want to worship the ground he walks on, and yet you guys wanted to shoot him dead when he broke the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania. Yeah, kind of biased if you think, but we'll talk about what happened with that a little bit later. But like I said, crowd definitely mixed.
What did Roman want?
There were some pro Cena, some always hating Cena for extremely ignorant reasons. But other than that, it was still a very riveting promo. I'm glad if it wasn't for Paul Heyman being there, let's just say this: if it wasn't for Heyman being there, being the mouthpiece for Brock Lesnar, and we've already said it a million times, Lesnar cannot cut a promo to save his life. Lesnar is horrible on the microphone. Can't sell a promo. He can't talk. As long as Heyman is there to be the mouthpiece of Brock Lesnar, then I'm okay with it. If Lesnar was there by himself, I would say, WWE, what the hell are you thinking? That's all I've got to say about the opening promo. Lance, looking at the first match, and something we kind of expected, Lance, last week with Kane handing back over his mask to Stephanie McMahon, turning back into corporate Kane. We kind of, it was kind of expected to see that again, but putting Roman Reigns in a match up against RybAxel. Thoughts on that, Lance?
Well, Kane cut a pretty nice little promo. Wasn't his best, wasn't his worst. I mean, but then again, you're putting Roman Reigns against a jobber tag team of RybAxel. The Paul Heyman guy rejects.
Yeah.
Then after the match, Roman Reigns just beats the hell out of both of them.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. At one point, Ryback during his face turn was the guy who was crushing everybody. Beating up 2 to 3 jobbers a week, and now look at him. He's in a he's part of the tag team in the handicap match, and he still couldn't put himself over. So, what does that say about Ryback and where he stands in the WWE? Up next, Mike, we had a matchup that we were supposed to have last week, the Beat the Clock Challenge, with Rob Van Dam and Seth Rollins. And I gotta say this, first up, Jerry the King Lawler. How the hell does the curb stomp from Seth Rollins come out of nowhere? When you literally have to see him bounce off the ropes, run, jump, and then stick his head behind it, stick his foot behind his head. How does that seemingly happen out of nowhere?
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make sense, obviously, because clearly the guy kicks in his gut, and then he clearly just stands there like this, like, oh, okay, put your foot on my head, go, oh, and then, he gets stopped. There's no way you don't see it coming. And one example that clearly you could see coming is when he did that foot stomp to Ambrose a couple weeks ago, when Ambrose got jumped backstage. Ambrose was on his back, and then he rolled over, then bent over, then... I don't understand. Yeah, that's pretty stupid, but...
Maybe if Clive dies next, we can put him out there instead.
Yeah, but it was still a very decent match. But how about this? Rollins, with this being Hulk Hogan's, birthday celebration, he was kind of sensing something wasn't right, especially with that big present that was on stage, and lo and behold, Ambrose comes out and just starts beating the tar out of him, and thinks, Ambrose is cutting a promo for their lumberjack match at SummerSlam, which should be very interesting, to say the least. But, man, Dean Ambrose has really come onto his own, and I'm really glad to see that happen, because I know Ambrose is a really good talent in the WWE. But speaking of something that was a talent and a waste of, now, we were all in agreement when in TNA, when they had the Claire Lynch story with AJ Styles, and just how incredibly lame that storyline was. So, what on earth is WWE creative thinking when they came up with the idea of going, hey, let's spin off the Claire Lynch storyline in TNA, and maybe wrestling fans will be stupid enough to forget it. Oh, guess what, pals? Didn't happen. For those of you who didn't see Monday Night Raw, this is what happened. Stephanie McMahon called out Daniel Bryan's therapist, Megan, and apparently she had a secret. She wanted to confess that she was having an affair with Daniel Bryan, and Stephanie McMahon, probably for the first time in about 5 years, finally had the ability to take a dump, she was going, yes! Yes! And as Brie Bella slapped Megan, which will kind of, if you haven't figured out already what was going to happen from that, then you're, I don't know, maybe you're believing in people power. But then next you know, Brie attempts to put Stephanie McMahon in a horrible version of the Yes Lock, which was just laughable, to be honest. But you know what? I'm going to give her credit, though, for trying. You know, if Stephanie McMahon can pull off probably the lamest pedigree I've ever seen in my life last week, now why not have Brie Bella attempt the Yes Lock? Yeah, but I don't know what, Lance, I don't know what else to say into that, but why?
Okay. I got a couple things to say here. WWE, if you're going to rip off TNA storylines, rip off storylines that freaking work. Claire Lynch in TNA did not work. And two, yeah. This is what happens when, I guess I know what happened. They have soap opera writers backstage in creative now. We all know this. And they thought, hey, this is like a soap opera line. This should work. Wrong.
Exactly, definitely. Again, we'll talk more about it when it gets to that point in the show. Next up, we had Jack Swagger and Cesaro kind of flipping it, because after WrestleMania, it was Cesaro who was face and Swagger who was heel. Kind of a reversal now. Cesaro who was heel, and man, did he ever get de-pushed? Excuse me. Taking on Jack Swagger in a very decent match. Really can't say anything bad about it. Swagger was able to put Cesaro in the Patriot lock for the submission win, and when they were about to do the We the People, out comes Rusev and Lana, waving their Russian flag to put over their flag match at SummerSlam. So I'm actually looking forward to that. And that's probably the only one real way to turn Swagger face was to have him go against Rusev. But up next, Mike, probably one of Michael Cole's most riveting interviews ever in WWE history, where after he makes the introductions, he's told to get the hell out of there, and I thank Bray Wyatt for that. But yeah, it was Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho, just kind of in a one-on-one interview style segment, saying well, let's just say this: they can cut a promo where Brock Lesnar cannot.
Nope. Do you have any sevens?
Mike?
No, my microphone's...
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, so I had a lapse in judgment. What was that last comment?
Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho, thoughts on their one-on-one interview segment?
I shouldn't have let that go. Boyd would still be alive and everything would
I liked it. I for some reason, always knowing Jericho to be goofy and funny, that serious look he had on his face, for some reason I just wanted to giggle.
Roman isn't taking
I know Jericho can be a good heel, but for some reason I wasn't buying the angry face. But
well, in my opinion, he was kind of being, instead of Y2J Chris Jericho, he was best in the world at everything I do, Chris Jericho.
Well, yeah. Also, however, I thought it was kind of awkward, Bray Wyatt, this guy that's, whatever words you want to use to describe him, sitting down in a formal interview across from him. Just something about it just seemed awkward with Bray Wyatt being who he is, I liked it, don't get me wrong, it just felt awkward.
It'll be very interesting to see where they take it from there at SummerSlam, to say the least. Up next, oh God, why did this happen? AJ Lee, in the sin you did, Mike, with Eva Marie. First off, this is like the umpteenth time we've seen AJ Lee and Eva Marie. However, this rendition of it, is Paige coming out to cause a distraction. Eva Marie rolls her up and gets the victory. Okay, why? I mean, really, Casey Cunningham on the Facebook page said Eva Marie and Heath Slater need to form a tag team, Power of the Redheads.
Well, Heath Slater can actually wrestle, though.
AJ Lee ended up making her pay for it after the match was over, to say the least. But following that, we had John Cena, who is in a red color now, coming out to address the crowd. And it's one thing I said on the Facebook page last night, Lance, is you gotta love the way that Cena works the crowd. He knows how to read the crowd. He knows how to respond to them in the right way, and he knows what to say and what to do to actually get the crowd to start cheering for him, because that's what he did in his response to Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman.
Oh, then again, he also did go for the kind of a little bit of cheap pops, because if Cena says, and then this should be fun, Cena sucks, and the crowd starts chanting Cena sucks, that's just basically giving them fuel for their fire. First of all, Yeah. I mean, come on.
But then he starts talking about how they've been wanting Cena to turn. Of course, I would get the pop, and he said this Sunday they were going to see a Cena that he is not proud of, but a Cena that is necessary to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Brock Lesnar, and actually call him hashtag. Well, I can't say it in my current surroundings, but it was a, let's just say it was a witch minus the W at a B.
No.
And that was almost Dr. Thugonomics style Cena, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't be surprised to kind of see that style of Cena come out at SummerSlam against Lesnar. The old Dr. Thugonomics style. And to be honest, I would still think Dr. Thugonomics gimmick would really sell still today.
It would.
Just like it.
It would. It'd probably make more, because I know you're a big Cena guy, Billy, but to me, he's staler than month-old bread. The actual character.
Well, speaking of something was staler than month-old bread, after Stephanie McMahon was put in the yes lock, well, let's just call it what it is. We're going to call it the maybe lock, because maybe it looked good and maybe it looked horrible. I think it looked horrible. But Stephanie would go on to saying, you know what, we're not going to have our match at SummerSlam. We're going to have it tonight. And Brie Bella's out there in her gear, ready to fight. When Stephanie McMahon comes out, says, you know what, we're going to have our match at SummerSlam if you can make it, because Megan is pressing charges against you. And let's just say it was 5 minutes of my time. I will never get back. And we lost Mike, but hopefully Mike will be coming back. But like I said, Lance, this is just 5 minutes of my life I will never get back.
Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't kayfabe, but anybody else notice that one of the cops from the Stephanie McMahon arrest was the same cop as the Brie Bella arrest?
Roman wants me to do it.
Yeah, I did notice that. By the way, if you're watching this live, there is a Q&A link that you guys can click on, and if you guys want to ask questions, or if you have a comment you want to make, just go ahead and do that, and we will read the comment out loud right here on the review. If you guys are still watching this live, if you're not watching this live, then you're watching the Walking Dead video game while you're listening to us. So, following that waste of time, we had Dolph Ziggler and Heath Slater with The Miz on commentary. You know what? First off, kudos to JVL for accidentally unplugging the Miz's microphone on commentary. I love that. I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny and hilarious how they worked that. And then Miz even mentioned it to Michael Cole. He's saying, you know, you used to be my biggest fan, my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter. Now what happened? And I forget what Michael Cole responded to with that, but it was probably the only time on a Monday Night Raw when the commentary actually started getting interesting. And what does that say about the commentary team as of late in the WWE? But if they would stop, you know, no calling moves. We've seen that 100 times. They ignore the match. They no call moves. They need someone out there to, you know, they can kind of keep up the antics that they're going with, Lance.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, they need someone out there to kind of counterbalance that, you know, to kind of, you know, be the guy to analyze the moves. Kind of like, if you remember the commentary team of Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Mike Tenay, and sometimes they did it with Larry Zbyszko. You know, that's a good team. You know, you have your play-by-play guy, Tony Schiavone, you have your color guy, and either Larry Zbyszko or Bobby the Brain Heenan, who was really good at it, by the way. And you would have your guy who can analyze the moves in Mike Tenay. Now, Mike Tenay is not a good play-by-play guy. Let's just say that right now. I don't know what TNA is seeing in him. I don't know whose butts he's kissing to keep his job, but you know, they should have kept that Todd McKinley guy, because he was actually halfway decent when it comes to play-by-play commentary. But, you know, if they would just have someone out there to analyze the moves, you know, so that way they can quit the no calling of the moves, you know, to kind of keep fans interested and directed towards the match, then I would be okay with that. But that's one of the main things that they don't have that they could really use, is to someone for them to, you know, have them out there and analyze the moves. Like, they would call the moves and then they would analyze a little bit, talking about, you know, how it jars the insides of the guy, you know, or how it affects the body and you know, in that kind of move, or, you know, like something to that extent. Lance, you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'll tell you who's supposed to do that. Because when they broke up King and JR, they put Cole in JR's spot, which Cole couldn't fill JR's shoes in 1,000 years, but that's just my personal opinion. But
I agree.
Cole is supposed to be doing that. But all he's doing is $9.99, $9.99, $9.99, $9.99, $9.99, $9.99.
Wow. We were getting into the festive season, and we're only in August.
Yeah, I know, right?
But back on to the Raw review, Dolph Ziggler and Heath Slater. Ziggler hits the zigzag. Miz jumps off commentary to strike Ziggler enough to get him counted out. So for the second week in a row, Heath Slater has done it.
It's a miracle!
He's actually gotten a victory for the last week against Seth Rollins, this week against Dolph Ziggler. The main event was Randy Orton and Sheamus, a really well-worked main event, in my opinion. Can't really say anything bad about it, especially with the way Orton countered the battering ram. By the way, commentary team, it wasn't a clothesline off the top. He was going for the battering ram, the shoulder tackle, off the top rope. He countered that into the RKO on Sheamus. Whoever is in the gorilla position, making the commentators say what they're saying on TV, Lance, just needs to go back to wrestling school, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
Yes. I mean, honestly, I wasn't sure what Sheamus was going for, because he just head out, arms back.
Well, half the time when he comes off the top rope, it's for the battering ram.
Yeah, but normally he has some form. This was head up, arms back, Randy RKO me.
Well, yeah, they had to build up to that spot, and that's the way they did it. That's probably why the camera angle was so far back the way it was, and that's how they showed it on replay. Up next, we had Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration. Oh, by the way, we'd like to officially send out our birthday wishes to the Hulkster, even though it's a day late. You know, happy birthday, Hulkster. And had a lot of guests. You know, we had Ric Flair, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, who had one of them handlebar mustaches you would see in a spaghetti western. And he was kissing up on the Divas, Lance. Did you see that?
He's Mr. Wonderful. It's what he does.
And that theme he came out to was the final one he used when he was in WCW. He's Mr. Wonderful. And I think I better stop singing because last time I started singing, a small critter died outside. And I'm not kidding either. We also had Roddy Piper, who came out to a huge pop, and probably someone came out to an, if equal, if not greater pop, was Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. And I love the fact, first of all, Scott Hall looked good.
Yeah.
He looked like he was in good health. He looked like he was in good shape and everything like that. Man, did Kevin Nash just age about 500 years or something?
Well, he's still running with X-Pac in now.
No wonder.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that DP has got Scott Hall in great shape now. Well, compared to what he was, it's a thousand wonders Scott Hall went in the grave. But it's what DDP Yoga does for you.
Hey, maybe I should look into it. Maybe it could help me. Because I've been considering doing something different on here to, not only talk wrestling, but help me lose weight at the exact same time.
Yeah.
If you guys follow me on Facebook, you guys would know about that. And I do have an opportunity possibly tomorrow to start doing that. You never know.
Yeah.
But
I'll talk to you after the hangout.
Yeah,
about it.
But as expected, Brock Lesnar threatened to come back out, during the opening promo, or Paul Heyman did it, and Lesnar did it. Lesnar came out and even one point said, "What you gonna do, Grandpa? Party's over." Why did you give the microphone to Lesnar? I don't understand. But at least he didn't screw up the line, Lance. At least he did not screw up the lines and been saying, he was only given 3 words: "Party's over, Grandpa." And thankfully, he did not screw that line up.
Yeah. Paul Heyman was probably back there going, "Okay, Brock, it's party's over, Grandpa. Remember that. Party's over, Grandpa. Not over party's, Grandpa. No. Party's over, Grandpa."
I'm just halfway amazed that he didn't tell Paul Heyman to say something stupid, if you guys remember what that was all about. Cena comes out to, of course, make the save, and they kind of leave on a standoff. Lesnar backs off and starts smiling and walks away from the ring. And now, I'm not ashamed to say this, Lance, that I would have marked out like crazy because there were rumors all over Twitter, rumors all over Facebook that Sting was going to show up on Monday Night Raw for Hulk Hogan's birthday celebration, but we did not see that. I was just a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, but then again, from what I've heard, from what they're actually going to be using Sting, if they ever decide to sign him to a in-ring deal.
Well, we know he's a Legends contract. I don't know about anything in-ring, though, but it would be really awesome.
Yeah. It would kind of kill a little bit of the pop when he came out. Oh my God, it's Sting! What's he gonna do? Who's he gonna kill? But then it would have, I don't know. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's Hulk Hogan, granted, but I think they want to have a gigantic reaction when Sting finally steps into a WWE ring and have it be more about Sting. That's just me, myself, personally,
Okay, calm down.
Well, on that note, guys and gals, it is now time to go into our overall scores and our picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week. As you kind of hear a little kid, yeah, he's not happy right now, because he saw what happened with Lesnar and Hogan last night, and he is not happy about that. So you got every right, kid, to be angry about that.
Thanks, man.
But as we find a way to calm him down, give him a toy or something. Find something for him to play with. While I talk about what I thought about Monday Night Raw, go find a toy for him to play with. And don't scream either. Anyway, yeah, you can kind of see the help I got. But anyway, as far as this week's Monday Night Raw, with it being the go-home show, for SummerSlam. In some instances, it was an okay show and a not okay show. You know, we seen Cena being debuted, and of course the red colors, as we saw. The shirt, the graphic on the shirt is not it's not bad. You know, it's the the representation of the "you can't see me" gimmick, and the fact we got to build to SummerSlam, and again, really not that much of a build between Cena and Lesnar. When we start doing SummerSlam prediction videos, we're going to talk more about that on there. But I gotta say, it was a decent show, 3.5 out of 5. Again, happy birthday to the one, the only Hulk Hogan. As I remind the person who's helping me to stop yelling, best match of the night. It's really hard to say because Randy Orton and Sheamus really worked a really good match, and so did RVD and Seth Rollins. But when I break it down, I got to go to Orton and Sheamus. It was it was two big names. Orton and Sheamus. We've seen them, countless times battling it out in the WWE, and this matchup did not disappoint. So I really got to go with that best match of the night. And the best segment of the night is something that never even happened on Monday Night Raw. There was no Damien Sandow identity crisis moments this week. So hats off to WWE for that. And I'm glad that. But worst segment, seriously, the therapist Daniel Bryan affair, really? WWE Creative thought it was imperative to copy a really lame gimmick from TNA? Really? That was, to me, Lance, that was really the only downer about Monday Night Raw. It was the fact that they did this stupid-ass segment.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's your thoughts on Monday Night Raw, your score, and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw?
Overall, I'll give it a 3. Main reason, I expect a little bit them to pick their game up a little bit more for the go-home shows, especially the one of the big 4. That's just me myself personally. Best match, I gotta give it to Seth Rollins and RVD. Because that was an awesome match, and then, the lunatic fringe just got unleashed on Seth Rollins after that. Which, I think I might have a new favorite wrestler in Dean Ambrose, but that's what I like. But yeah, best segment, I gotta go with the whole Hulk Hogan birthday celebration. It would have been awesome if, since Hulk Hogan was wearing a red shirt, El Torito would have just gored him a little bit. Don't want to put red in front of a bull. Worst match, Eva Marie.
Yeah.
Worst segment, the Claire Lynch ripoff.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 5 minutes of my life I will never get back thanks to WWE ripping that gimmick off.
Yeah.
And they didn't even do a good job of it either.
No.
But anyway, guys and gals, you heard what we had to say about Monday Night Raw this week. What we want to know is, what do you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, what do you guys think of Monday Night Raw this week? What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw? As, of course, you heard the kid here in the background hated what happened with Lesnar and Hulk Hogan last night. So, that's why he was screaming so loudly. He's like, I hate Lesnar! And don't worry, he's not even wearing any Cena gear either. So, but you definitely want to know what you guys have to say about Monday Night Raw this week. So be sure you put your comments in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Our apologies to Mike from Iowa. He was with us here at the onset of the review, and I guess probably for due to some technical issues, he was unable to continue the stay with us for the remainder of the review. But again, our apologies to Mike for that. But again, it was a sin from that Eva Marie photo. And finally, Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
I got album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck gourmet cooking videos, a bunch of musical equipment reviews, and a bunch of rants when I feel like it. And if you hadn't subscribed, why hadn't you?
Fans, don't forget to like the Facebook page, facebook.com/WGS-TV, and don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/ tell them to subscribe, kid. youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network if you haven't already. So for the incomparable Lance Moss and Lance Moss TV and Mike from Iowa, I'm the WrestleGamer. There will be Billy Boudreaux saying WWE Barry Claire Lynch.
See how you like it.
This has been brought to you by Claire Lynch Rehabbing.
Look, as long as you stay off that.